Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So if you ever wondered why there was no crossover on an SUV version of the Corolla, then you will be delighted because now there is one, which is this Toyota Corolla Cross. So in today's video we're going to be reviewing this very Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid, and we are also going to be checking out the interiors and the exteriors, and we'll be also going on a short drive. But before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that subscription button, and make sure to press that bell icon and leave all the notifications on so that you never miss any video updates from my channel. So the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid sits between the CHR and the RAV4, and which is why you would be able to notice a lot of similarities between those models. But let's start from the front. So you get this big black color grille out here with this blue logo, the Toyota one, which is to indicate that these are the hybrid cars or the electric cars. At the bottom, this huge plastic bumper out here with these non-LED fog lamps at the bottom, and some more horizontal slits at the bottom on the grille. This is an LED headlight cluster. It's a complete LED headlight cluster. There are also DRLs out here. At the bottom you would also find the turn signals, and the whole body structure that you would see also would remind you of a RAV4 because it's got broader thicker arches on both the sides and even on the back, and also the thick lines that go, and even some of the design elements are even borrowed from the Highlander from their lineup. So even that you would be seeing it from the side profile. So there are two variants of this Corolla Cross Hybrid, which is the XL and the GLI. The XL being a little basic version, and this particular model that I am reviewing is the GLI. And as a part of that package you get 17-inch alloy rims and these claddings on the fender, plastic ones, and even at the bottom to protect your fenders and the underbody, so if there are light scuffs and anything, so yeah, it doesn't damage your main body. And there are these arches out here with this hybrid badging, and also nice bit of design out here. So even at the back you would see these arches. Again, it's very similar, which is why I said to a RAV4 or even the Highlander. So it's kind of a mixture of two, the body style of the Highlander and the sort of lines and everything from a RAV4. And in fact this car is 140 millimeters shorter than a RAV4, and it's 170 millimeters shorter than the Corolla sedan version. And you would get the power foldable mirrors. These are the power adjustable, and they also have the turn signal inside them, but they don't have the blind spot warning in it. And there is also this half chrome surround which ends up with the Corolla Cross on top of it. Really neat touch out here. And on top there are these glossy black shiny roof rails, and these door handles are keyless entry door handles. So in the back you would notice some similarities with the Corolla sedan, which are namely these tail lights. So these tail lights are a combination of LED and halogen. So they have this nice bit of LED on top, and the turn signals and all that is halogen. And out here you would find the Corolla Cross badging, but for some reason it looks a little off to me. Like, I don't know, let me know in the comment section, because this Corolla looks like an afterthought because the Cross is in the center, but the Corolla, yeah, it's kind of in the end. I mean, I wish it was all equally lined up. And then there is also the hybrid badging out here, and the blue Toyota logo again for the hybrid. At the bottom you would find thick plastic bumper, huge one out here, and then normal body colored plastic again at the bottom, and then no exhaust pipes sticking out from the back, but instead it's just behind the bumper. And when it comes to the visibility, it's actually a little restricted because these pillars are thick, and this body is actually quite high up from here, which is why the actual road visibility is kind of very restricted in that way. So yeah, that is something. And when it comes to the boot space, in this standard settings, when the rear seats are up, you can put 407 liters of luggage in the back. There is also a boot separator, which I have removed actually, so that I can show you the big space out here. So it's quite even, it's pretty huge. There is no nonsense of unnecessary cubby space or anything that has been utilized, but straightforward the luggage space has been given. There are more tying points out here, and even on the inside there are tying points, but there is no place to put this boot separator, not even at the bottom or anywhere. At the bottom you would actually find a full size spare wheel that has been given along with the toolkit, and the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 60:40. So you can do that from here with these levers given out here. My back is on the seat, so let me put it down, and once I put these seats down, there is a huge space out here, but the problem now is that there is a step between the boot floor and the seat, so there is quite a bit of step out here. So yeah, putting your luggage in and out is going to be a bit of a struggle, because let me just show you. So if I just try to put this in, yeah, it's like a step out there, so it takes a little effort to put that. And there is also these plastic scruff plates out here, so in the back, and then very small amount of lip. So yeah, putting your luggage in and out from the actual boot space is going to be rather easier because of that small amount of lip. Well, step inside and things would look very familiar on the interior, because this whole dashboard is actually exactly similar to the Corolla sedan version, and even everything that you see on the dashboard and even the bits out here. So yeah, in terms of that, it's more like a Corolla on stilts. It's just that you feel a little raised up when you're sat inside. So let me start off with the basic material quality. So you would find normal plastic on the dash out here in the center, and even out here on the sides you would find the leather covered maroon color leather stitched dash, and even on the door cards it's like soft touch plastics. But out here again on the side of this steering wheel, this is like a normal plastic, and where your hands are going to be resting, again that is soft leather covered, and out here plastic bits, out here at the bottom plastic. So yeah, lots of mixture of plastic and soft touch plastics, normal plastics, and the leather covered ones also that have been used out here. Now when it comes to the driver's display, you would find two gauges on both the sides, one which on the left side which shows you your power, your eco, and the charging and all of that, and the other side would show you the fuel gauge. And in the center there is a 7-inch screen that shows you a fair amount of information, like if you want to see your fuel economy, you can see that, the eco zone, and then you can even swipe up onto the right side, and then you can see your cruise control information, your media information, and then there is the trip information, and also the various power distribution, like from the battery to the engine and all of that on your screen that you can see. And then there is a detail settings in which you can set different units and everything on your screen that you see. So yeah, in terms of the information that you get on that screen, it's a very simplified system, and it's kind of very easy. It's very easy to just get into that menu options. Also there are straightforward buttons given on the steering wheel. Now coming to this steering wheel, this is a manually adjustable tilt and telescopic steering wheel with the leather covered with the black stitching, and on the right side you would find the controls for your normal cruise control, and at the bottom you would find the controls for your infotainment. And on the left side you would find, as I mentioned, on top the controls to control your driver's information display, and at the bottom you will find the volume control and the communication. So yeah, the infotainment and the communication buttons have been split on both the sides at the bottom, while the other buttons are on top, and it's a pretty decent sort of the Toyota kind of style of the steering setup that you will find. And when it comes to the air conditioning controls, you find a single zone air conditioning system, and it's a relatively easy to use system like most of the Toyotas, and I'm really glad that Toyota focuses on the ease of use more than going for those touch and all of that thing. So yeah, when it comes to the usage of this air conditioning system, so you just have to use the knob on both the sides and switch it on. So on the right side you would find the knob for your fan, and on the left side the temperature control, and the buttons at the bottom for your flow of air and the air recirculation, and the front and the rear for the defogging option. So all of those buttons are straightforward given on your dashboard itself. And now when it comes to the infotainment screen, this is an 8-inch TFT touchscreen, and it feels a little bit washed out during a bright daylight, especially during the summers. And there are the straightforward buttons, and like most Toyotas, straightforward button operated on both the sides, shortcut buttons for your home, menu, radio, info, and the track phone apps. And there's also a volume dial and a scroller dial, but this screen feels like just put out here on the dashboard, which is why you get this cover also, so that gives it a little bit of the sturdiness. And in terms of the operations inside the infotainment screen, you get straightforward widgets on your screen, which is one big huge energy monitor. When you click on that, you can see what is being powered, the energy, from where the energy is coming from your engine, the electric motor and the battery and the charging state and all of that. You can go inside and see the trip information and all of that, and then more widgets for your media and the phone. And then when you swipe, you can go into the audio option, and there you will find the various connectivity options. So in terms of the connectivity, there is like FM, there's also the Bluetooth, there's also a mirrorcast option, and the USB option as well. So mirrorcast option is something where you can cast your phone, and you can use the phone exactly how you see on your device actually. So there is no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay on this Toyota Corolla Cross. So continuing, you get the phone option. There is also the info option, which again leads you to that same energy monitor, and then there is the finer setup option, in which you can change every single detail on your screen, on your infotainment screen. So which is your general, your Bluetooth, your audio, phone, voice, and the Wi-Fi. So everything can be changed from here. So that way it's a very simplified system, and easy to just get in and start using it. There is not much, but it feels a little now dated, and little bit of refreshment on the infotainment side is required. Maybe newer screen or something, and a little bit of snappiness as well. Now when it comes to the charging, you would find one USB port out here at the bottom on the dashboard, and there is another USB port, which is your normal USB port, and 112 volt 120 watt power socket given in the center armrest. And that is pretty much it for the front and the rear passenger. And when it comes to the storage, you can put like 1 liter worth of bottle in the door cards, and some more storage on the sides. There is another storage in the center console where you can put your phones and wallets. It's also got the rubber sort of carpeting at the bottom, and there are 2 cup holders out here, and those are just the normal cup holders and not the flexible ones. So the normal smaller cups are going to be dancing a little bit inside. And there's also this glove box out here, which is pretty decently sized, and this slidable armrest. And the thing is, when you slide this armrest, you can't use one of the cup holders, you can only use one cup holder. So you have to decide, you want to use the armrest or the cup holders. And there's also this center storage armrest inside, which you can put like your phones and wallets. That is pretty much it. Like, it's a small little storage out here, and in the bags there's no storage in the door cards or anything, just 2 cup holders which are given on both the door cards. So this Corolla Cross comes with a normal sunroof, and the size of it is pretty decent, although you have to press it 2 times to completely open it, but otherwise it's a decently sized sunroof. So when it comes to these seats, these are maroon color leather covered seat with the maroon stitching, and this is one of my favorite features on this Corolla Cross, because these seats are quite comfortable, and even during the longer journeys you wouldn't realize that you've had a long journey, because they absolutely give you a lot of comfort on every direction. So even on the sides there is like a side support. So and they are quite big as well, so you can easily fit inside, and then you can adjust them, because these seats on both the driver and the passenger side is just manually adjustable. So you can adjust the height, and also you can do the recline. Now there are more buttons given next to the gear lever for your drive mode, the traction control, and the EV mode. Because this is a hybrid car, you can drive this in a completely EV mode too, but there are some things that you have to keep in mind, that the battery has to be 50% above, and you can't cross 50 kilometers per hour. So till that time you can use that EV mode, but otherwise you leave it in the other drive modes, and then you have the different drive modes like your comfort, your sport, and the eco mode. Now, even though this Corolla Cross is 170 millimeters shorter than the standard sedan, but this still does quite alright in terms of the rear space, because if you notice, this seat is in my driving position, and then there is enough of knee space out here, and even the headroom is decent. There is also a cutout on top which is given to give you that extra bit of head space. So someone above 6 feet may also find it comfortable to be putting their head towards the ceiling. And when it comes to the leg space underneath the seat, you can slide your feet. There is ample of space because there is no electronics, so you can put your legs, and for the longer journeys you can stretch them a little bit. There are also 2 air conditioning vents given out here. You can control just the flow of air, and then at the bottom there is no transmission tunnel, like a small one which is given, but not too much that would hinder the middle passenger. So when I sit in the middle, even the middle row of seat is quite comfortable. The bottom part of the seat is very comfortable, but the top bit has a bit of the hump out here, and it's a little hard. And the reason that these seats are a little at an angle is because the batteries are also placed at the bottom. There is also a handrest which has been given out here with two normal standard cup holders out here. They are just not the flexible ones. Then when you put the cups, it's in the horizontal position, so you have to adjust your hand. And when it comes to the storage in the door cards, as I mentioned, one cup holder that has been given out here on both the door cards. So I was expecting a little more at the bottom, some more storage, but maybe the seats have consumed that much of space. Now when it comes to these seats, these are again the maroon colored leather covered seat with the maroon stitching on it, and they are pretty comfortable that way. In what you saw in the front is exactly what you will get in the rear seat also, and there is nice bit of visibility out here. Even the shoulder line is pretty low that way, so you can get a full clear view of the outside. So this Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid comes with a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder inline DOHC petrol engine that produces 96.5 HP or 95 brake horsepower and 142 Newton meters of torque. There is also an electric motor that is mounted in the front that produces 71 HP or 70 brake horsepower and 163 Newton meters of torque. And this is a combined sort of the hybrid system that you will find, and this entire power unit is mated to a CVT transmission, and there is no torque converter in the CVT transmission, which is why when you try to get set from the word go, you get that instant sort of the jump in the power, and then immediate off the line kind of thing. But when it comes to this engine, it gets a little stressed out, I feel, and there's a lot of noise, and again that is to do with the fact that there's a CVT also, and which is why there's a bit of that that grumbling noise from that engine and the CVT. And in terms of the efficiency in the delivery of power from the electric motor and the engine, you get a combined output of 122 horsepower, and it kind of feels enough for this car, although Toyota seem to feel a little heavy sometimes, but on this it's kind of decent that way, although it does feel a little weight to it, but nonetheless it manages it quite well. But it's the engine which makes a little loud noise when you are trying to accelerate, and it tends to feel like it's a little struggling, but actually it's doing quite alright. It's just that it's making a lot of noise while doing that as well. And the engine actually runs on Atkinson's power cycle, so that is to do with the fact that it will give you more of efficiency, and it focuses less on the power delivery, power generation in general. And as a result of all this, you get a fuel economy of anywhere between 16.5 to 17.5 on a longer run, although the claimed is somewhere around 23 kilometers per liter. But I mean, it's still decent, to be honest, with a 16.5 liter or a 17.5 liter worth of the fuel economy that you get. And it's not just that, you get a fuel tank of 36 liters, which gives you a range of about 450 or a maximum of 500 kilometers. So that is also pretty alright with this sort of crossovers that you find. So when you shift the car from your parking, reverse, normal to drive, there is another mode called as the B. Now that B mode is a lot of braking action, so the regeneration that happens for the battery. So when you put it into that, you can actually feel when you release the accelerator, the car actually pulled back a little bit more, and now the engine RPM is utilized to charge the battery instead of drop off the RPM. So that is what usually happens in that B mode. It's to do with the fact that to utilize more of the engine power to charge that battery, and it actually improves the charging of this battery also. So you can use an EV mode. There is a button given for that, but only when the battery is half charged, at least half charged, and you can use it while cruising not more than 50 kilometers per hour. So that's about it. So the moment you cross that, it would again switch to the normal mode, and it would again switch on the engine and combine the power unit. When it comes to the suspensions, they are on the softer side, and that is pretty visibly evident when you are going to be driving it, because you try to throw this car into the corner, there is a bit of a roll, and also, as I mentioned, because there is a weight, so it takes a while to shift from one end to the other. And also, let me demonstrate you like a slalom and show you, like, yeah, it kind of feels that softness now comes in. But the good bit to that softness is that you get a comfortable ride, and along with the seats is a real pleasure while going on a longer journeys. And when it comes to the steering wheel, the steering is pretty decent, I found. The only thing is that at lower speed it's light, but at higher speeds it also remains the same. Like, you know, it's more lighter in fact, and which is why a little input, and then, you know, the car tends to just read that and then starts changing the direction. So I mean, at a higher speed, maybe a little hardness, you know, would be better. But again, on the plus side of this steering, it's pointy, it's really good. And the good bit is that it's got a very short turning radius. In fact, it's like a hatchback. It's so small, and I was really impressed by that, because you don't have to do a 3-point turn. It would actually just take like a turn in a very short radius. So that is one good thing. When it comes to the noise and the vibrations, you get, in terms of the vibrations, there is not much, because the build quality is quite solid. That way everything is really well made and really, you know, nicely fixed inside. And when it comes to the noise, there is a bit of wind whooshing that you will hear, actually not a bit, actually like a substantial amount from these windows. Especially if it's a windy day, then you would hear a little bit of whooshing from these windows in the front, but no tire noise or anything as such otherwise. And it's just that the engine noise that you would hear that penetrates into the cabin, especially when it's you know, cruising like kind of accelerating like this. Now when it comes to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this Corolla Cross Hybrid, and let me show you by doing an emergency brake stop. Yeah, it grips quite well. And the thing is, you can actually feel that the front brakes are, you know, more biased, and you know, they are actually more gripping, because obviously there is a bigger disc brake in the front, so which is why they are gripping. And you can see the whole vehicle squat in front, and you know, it actually kind of leans like this from the side. So, and you can actually feel that too, because when you start accelerating, it comes back to its normal position. But yeah, nonetheless, the braking performance is pretty good. The pedal setup is really nice. I like how gradual it is, and you know, you can use the entire range, especially it's not very sensitive. So yeah, that's one good thing. Now when it comes to the safety systems, you find the standard safety systems like 7 airbags, in fact, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags. And there is also one more driver's knee airbag. There is also tire pressure monitoring system. There is also the child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also a single camera reversing system, and the output from that is a little grainy, I'm afraid. And yeah, and I think that is also to do with the fact because the screen doesn't have good amount of pixels because it's a TFT. So yeah, the output from that is a little choppy and grainy, but nonetheless there is a reversing camera that is pretty helpful, and also there are parking sensors, and there is also the vehicle stability control. There is also ABS, there is also rear parking sensors, which I mentioned. There are 2 different models that you will find, which is the XL and the GLI. And when it comes to the pricing, the XL is priced at 89,900 dirhams, and this GLI, which is the fully spec version, comes in at 100,900 dirhams. So for 100,900 dirhams, it's kind of a decent car, because let's be honest, you get a hybrid for that car, that much of price, and it's decently loaded, it's comfortable, it's practical, it's spacious. It's just that a little bit of build quality can be improved, which is what I found. And also in terms of tech, you know, the infotainment screen can be improved. On the positive side, Toyota has actually, I feel like they've realized that the world is actually shifting towards the crossovers and the SUV, and which is why you see the Corolla also feature in the crossover segment. So I think for that effort, it's a commendable one, and I'm pretty sure that Toyota will keep on improving this, and then from couple of years from now we may have one of the best cars in this segment. So yeah, at least it's a good start nonetheless. And also the Corolla name strongly resonates amongst the buyers, so that is one surety you would get from the Toyota, which is also the reliability and the ease of use. That is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, or you can press that red subscription button, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.